strong.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this last minute slash it's about time stream where we are talking about is it the parts of Pokemon Horizon we have left of Season 1 before we are moving over to Season 2 later on. And joining me tonight is Arcwinder. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to discussing about Pokemon Horizons, especially since I'm now more charged up than I was last time. I'm gonna be not asleep for the stream.
That's good. That's good. And do you want to know something important?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
The important part in question is that Metaphor is a perfect video game, but that's another story for another day.
You told me that about 5 times this past week, believe it or not.
I know. But anyway, this whole, as I mentioned, this is the last the restoring part of Season 1 of the Pokemon Horizon, where we continuing their journey about catching the black Rayquaza and Liko, finding out who she is and all that jazz, and collecting, taking the heroes, or should I say, get the gang back together. Is that the proper term here?
It's the reunion tour of the old heroes Pokemon from back in the day. Yeah, so yeah.
And I was thinking, since you're more pumped than me right now, I was just, what are your thoughts of the whole the rest of the season, so to speak?
Well, I will just combine this with my thoughts on the show as a whole. So far, I will say I am pleasantly surprised by this series. I haven't watched this Pokemon in years, and I dip in occasionally when when something epic happens in the show and it hits the internet, with Ash, with his final battle and becoming the champion. So I have kind of dropped out of the anime. I was just more of a casual fan, and by sitting down watching Horizons, I was like, this is. I can appreciate the show being its own thing, and it's charming for what it is. I do appreciate I do appreciate Liko, Roy, and Dot. I appreciate the other Rising Volt Tackler members. I find their dynamics to be quite enjoyable, quite fun, and the episodes themselves are I'm not gonna say every episode is like a banger, like perfect 10 out of 10. But the worst the show gets is just maybe just still being fairly competent and at least interesting to watch, a bit still fun to watch. So it does get my praise for that. I do appreciate I guess the journey too. I say because I do appreciate just being Pokemon, they're trying to go get some Pokemon. Not kind of catch them all in a way with trying to get these legendary 6 Pokemon. And by the end of the series, they have I think they got half the gang together. And I'm interested what they do for the other 3 Pokemon, especially with Quasar and Entei.
Who is left outside of Entei and Rayquaza now again? Do you recall?
Let me. I think. I believe. I don't remember. I think it's another legendary Pokemon. It was Yes. Let me just check what. Okay, let me check my notes. And it was. Let's see. We have. Kev. Oh no, not that. The guy was Kevlar. the guy with the sword, the guy with the axes, the big battle axe Pokemon.
Oh, you mean Cleaver?
Yeah.
It's an alternative evolution of Scyther that got introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is a major disappointment for me. But no, not that Pokemon is there; it's the game was a massive disappointment for me. To be quite frank.
Let's be careful. Be careful, man. We just are. Well, we don't want to drop some hot takes so soon into the stream.
I mean, am I not known for having hot takes on streams?
That is true. I will point taken, and my point is withdrawn. Continue away.
And I don't know about you, and I think I said that in an earlier stream, or should I say, our earlier streams. But the thing that makes this show stand out compared to Ash, Urn, and all that jazz is that it's, how's it called? Does it have some episodic nature in it? Sure, I can agree on that. But this is more of an overarching plot. Whereas in Pokemon, it was just Ash is still going there, having some form of problem. Team Rocket tries to steal Pokemon. Ash then they manage to defeat them. They go on with their day. Here, they have a overarching journey. They don't have an episodic nature of rinse and repeat. There are times where the evil team isn't even in an episode. If you really think about it.
I suppose, yeah. I do appreciate, I guess that element, just trying to get away from the old, basically kind of the old method formula, and it does allow for some some good stuff with side casts. So there's of course fillers in this episode in this season, but they're still pretty entertaining. With with each of the Rising Volt tacklers getting their own little getting their own moments and special episodes for them and their character development. So one of my favorite episodes from the season is the episode where the gang is going to a Pokeball blacksmith to help them figure out about these old Pokeballs that keep the 6 heroes in. And then we get there's a nice little episode with Orla, just some good character stuff with her. We learn more about her, and we get some focus on her. And she kind of I do really appreciate that because these episodes give us time to actually get to know these people better and better. And it gets me more invested in the story when the plot actually kicks in again into high gear. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, man! I'm very invested now because now I know more about these characters. I know more about their personalities and their histories and their interests. I want to know what's up with them.
And one big thing that we talked about briefly in the Discord chat that honestly is kind of refreshing considering I can't even recall a game is bringing that up. And that is that they are talking about having to need to work.
I mean, to be fair, in the games, if you be a Pokemon trainer, you just get money. And I assume that's how Ash was able to afford stuff back in the day when he just does some battles, gets a few bucks, and just spends that on gear and stuff. But these guys are not really trying to be professional trainers or anything. They're adventurers and all that, and so they kind of have to do other things to supplement their income.
Which boils down to for example, the episode where they're trying to help the archaeological what's the name?
Those guys, archaeologists. I can't.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to move and stop the Pokemon, but then they realize that they have a nest and they disturb the nest, so they are trying to they meet instead halfway, which is just that's a good lesson to show for people.
Yeah,
I dare argue.
yeah, I do like that stuff too. Like it's kind of just I do appreciate this. The show kind of tries to say, okay, you don't always need like the battle just to solve a problem. You guys can just talk it out and just figure out, like as you say, like a situation, like a solution that benefits every party involved.
Which is needed when you are a team, honestly. Which is something also that I need to bring up. But it's what makes or break this show, I argue, would be if the team doesn't feel like a team, or should I say family in that matter. It's sort of like Fairy Tale in that which it is sure it has a really stupid plot and all that, yes. Don't get it twisted. But what makes it so popular there is the cast and the crew, and the fact that you can buy that they are friends, or should I say family in that matter, almost. So, which is something I appreciate with this, because sometimes, honestly, and this is to be frank, some of the companions that Ash had didn't really feel like friends, more like, is a companion the right words?
I think it's just like we're here because the plot needs us to be here. That's like there's no term for that. Just they're just there for the plot to happen and to give Ash like just someone to talk to in his daily life.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a problem in my, that. How should I say, that was a problem in my book, and which is also the really first time that I feel like they started to go into more character development in the original show is actually okay. Now we go to the area in which honestly feels like they learned from that episode here. It's the two professors during the Sun and Moon era. They had they were a couple, as you might know. They were a couple in the games, and they are also a couple in the anime.
Yeah.
And they had an episode that was just dedicated to their wedding.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. My main got that Riz, man. Professor Kukui, was it? Like he has my man got that Riz. Let's go.
Yeah, but because that's all. Because in this day and age where you have shows that it just needs to be all in your all in the face and all, because this should I say, yes, it has the energy of a Pokemon show, but it also respects its audience, I would say.
Yeah,
Which is a delightful way to go with it.
yeah.
So, which is needed in this case.
Yeah, I do agree with. I do agree with that. Yes. With that said, Ed, but like the other, I do like. I think I'm going to just bring up a criticism with the show. I think that I find the show. I think like one of my issues with the show is that I think the pacing is just again like I talked about I don't mind the fillers, but I think it's I feel like it takes a bit too long for some things to happen. Like it takes like Sprigatito takes Sprigatito like 45 episodes to evolve into its next form. And it's like
no. Let's go back. We need let's we save that for a bit for a sec. That part.
Okay. That woke you up a bit there. You're just trying to keep me back to keep you on track. Okay. So all right, fine. Let's take it back a few steps before we get to the things I do not like about this show. Like I do like with the character stuff. I also appreciate with
I was just talking about the big deal that comes at the end of the show. You can talk about what you don't like now. It's just that part I want. I want us to save.
Oh. Well, no. Well, I'm just gonna fine. I'll just talk about that later. But I will say before we go into other things, I do also appreciate Amethio. Like he's like one of the main villains of the show. I'm like, okay, I like his character stuff here. He's trying to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Yeah, but there's you sense some like you kind of I think, but you kind of feel like his frustrations too because he's trying to capture the black Quasar, but then he gets cooked every single time he tries to beat that thing. So like, but he's seeing like essentially he's going through like how you have like the hero getting stronger and stronger to win the day. They're doing that with the villain with Methio. I'm like, okay, I kind of appreciate that. I kind of do I like that.
I have a theory regarding him, but more on that later.
Yeah. Like what other things do you notice about the show? What other things did you take notice when you watched it?
Well, for starters, now we can go into. Well, I can agree that some of the episodes are slower than others. I do find a funny contrast between their, how should I put it, Dot's mother and her, but although you can say that Dot is a bit like her mother when she's her infinite personality. So
yeah, I mean it's like I guess it could be like I guess it's just me like interpreting it, just I guess maybe a bit headcanon, but I think I guess you could say she was like to her persona she tried to try to play a character that grabs people's attentions and all that, and she said, okay, I can imagine she'd be like, okay, I'm gonna use my mother because she's always able to grab attention because she's a very loud person. She talks a lot. So it's like yeah, I was like, I could very much imagine she just when thinking of her persona, she's like, okay, let's do that.
And the funniest shit is, I know some mothers that are like that. So it's not like how should I put it? Unrealistic.
It's Pokemon Horizons takes way more inspiration from reality than I thought it would. Not gonna lie, it's
and I do like how it was at the end where she literally tested her and see if it wasn't just no, I don't want to go home, because as we all know, the kids might just I want to go to the summer camp, for example, but then parts kick in and they miss their mom, even though they don't want to admit it because they are grown up, so to speak.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift.
I mean, this is the Pokemon world where 10-year-olds can just go out on their own and just nearly die.
Hello, Jamie. Go on.
Yeah, this is the Pokemon world after all. Like, it's a universe where it's a 10-year-old can just go out on their own adventure and and potentially die in their everyday life. So I guess I would understand why. I guess some mothers would be like, "Hey, let's maybe I don't want my kid to go through that," or alongside other motherly stuff too.
What can you elaborate that question, Jamie. But yeah, and ah, okay, gotcha.
Hey,
But AO indeed. But then we need to, before we go into spec. I feel like sort of like speculation of season 2 needs to happen. So I need to ask um, the big deal here. What were your reaction when her cat evolved for the first time? Yes, and our main character actually had her starter evolve, unlike Ash with his Pikachu.
To be fair, Pikachu is a pretty strong Pokemon, so I guess it never needed to really evolve. So, and plus money, he's the mascot. You can't change the mascot. So
yeah, true.
Yeah,
Did you know that Clefairy was
first?
Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah, Clefairy was supposed to be the original mascot, but then they changed it to Pikachu. Like, I'll say it'd be mad interesting to see the alternate timeline where Ash had a Clefairy as his main Pokemon. But that is not
would have been interesting.
Yeah, but when I was watching when Spiritomb evolved, I'm like, finally! It took forever, man. 45 episodes. Jeez, man. Like even the original show, it didn't take that long for a Pokemon to evolve. Like Charmander, it eventually it was like Charizard in less than 30 episodes here. Like Pikachu, it's like 45 episodes, and it finally evolved into its evolved form.
To be fair, that's a good way to end the season on.
Yeah, I suppose, but it's just like it's just like I feel like it's a bit like annoying too that it takes that long for a Pokemon to evolve because especially with another problem I have with the show, like when it comes like the explorers, like I don't think they're bad characters, but I can't really take them seriously when like those two goons underneath that was under Amethio, like they get their asses kicked by two star Pokemon every time they're on screen. I'm like, really? Like, yes, I know that like Liko and Roy are Pokemon trainers, but really, evolved Pokemon like can get their asses kicked by low-level starter Pokemon? Like, come on, no, there's no aura behind that stuff. There's
plot armor.
Remember
that.
Yeah, I know plot armor, but I'm just saying if you're going to have these villains get their butts kicked every single episode, they fight the main characters. At least upgrade the main character's Pokemon to a higher level, to like a higher Pokemon form, like or at least have anything else, but just get absolutely cooked by a fake Coco and Sprigatito. I'm like, really? And I guess
also remember in the anime, electric moves works against ground Pokemon, so
they don't. Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with that. I mean, granted, like we did have like one of my favorite moments of the season when like those other explorers guys come to carry the team after like those other two guys got absolutely bodied by Liko and Roy. And, they come in with their Glalie and that I don't know what was that other Pokemon's name, but it was like the very big explorer and like that little like gremlin explorer, like the one with like the very big sleeves. I was like,
yeah. Oh, can you explain? Can you which Pokemon are you talking about?
It was the one under like let me see, what was the Pokemon the big Pokemon is it's a Gargantuar. It's a Gargantuar. It's like
you mean the salt Pokemon?
Yeah, the salt guy. Like I was like, yeah, like oh yeah, I was like, yeah, like some frightening, some villains with aura behind them. But then like Captain Pikachu shows up, the goat himself, and just beats them both up. I'm like,
To be fair, that's Captain Pikachu for you.
yeah, I know that. I'm saying that I was like, yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay, these guys are obviously badasses. They need you need Captain Pikachu to beat both of them up. So I'm like, okay, these guys are going to be much better than the other guys. Then the next time they fight Roy and Liko, like they did beat them up a bit with it, beat Sprigatito and Fuecoco, but then with Sprigatito and Fuecoco, did do a bit of a counterattack. That was in episode 43, I think. But then like, okay, I guess we have to really start trying now. Before they do their big attack on them, they just get called back to go prepare for like the black to go do their thing with Black Rayquaza. I'm like, okay, you know what, that's fair. That's a bit cheap, but I'm like, okay, fine. But then like in the next episodes, they get outwitted by Sprigatito, by Liko, Roy, and Dot, and I'm like, really? Come on, guys! You're like supposed to be like these intimidating villains. Stop being outsmarted by 10-year-olds. Like, at least Team Rocket were joke characters. At least they were they were meant to be a joke. And even then, they had some times where they almost won, but they got cheated out by just plot armor. You guys are like, come on, like he's like, and I mean, you might be saying like, well, I'm being so tough on these guys. They're like, why am I being so harsh on the explorers? I'm like, I'm just saying that these guys are, they're like tonally, I am expecting their stuff to be a bit more like not necessarily darker or edgier than Team Rocket, but more like they're supposed to be taken more seriously because they're not as colorful and bright as Team Rocket in terms of I guess design and and how their characters work. But then they get even more punk than Team Rocket did against Ash Ketchum. Because at least Ash had he was at least a competent Pokemon trainer with some powerful Pokemon. Again, you get beaten by Sprigatito and a Fuecoco? Really? And with fully evolved Pokemon that you guys at the very least have probably spent at least years with I'm like, no, I can't.
To be fair, to an extent, it's also the lesson of the villains aren't that the grunts that I would dare argue aren't that organized. They are pretty much I'm doing this on my own kind of deal, even though they are ordered to do that together, and that is also something that you can show off that again that a lot of animes do. You can solve the most problematic stuff if you work together.
Yeah. Okay, that is I guess a better excuse I'll admit. That's a decent defense for the floors. It's just still I can't. It's hard to take them seriously. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it, but I'm just saying that the whole ordeal is most likely that they want to show that the camaraderie can solve a lot more than just going on your own.
Yeah, but I would still say that I think it would have worked better if if Liko, Roy, and Dot's Pokemon were still at least in their second evolutionary form, then I would be able to suspend my disbelief a bit more and be like, okay, I can now see why. And I think it would have worked a lot better if imagine let's say Roy and Liko, they try to fight these guys, they get absolutely pummeled because they're fighting Pokemon that are probably in their level 50s and 60s with their low level Pokemon. They come back later with higher level Pokemon. Then the flaws of the explorers get exploited because without the power advantage, they're just a bunch of chumps that don't really have synergy with each other. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But now I want to go into. Do you have anything else to talk about in regards to the last part of season 1?
I would highlight the Black Rayquaza battle with Roy, Liko, Freed, and Amethio later on. Like I was like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool, especially when like Amethio and Freed they teamed up and had their Pokemon tag team with Rayquaza. I was like, oh yes, that's pretty epic. Not gonna lie. Of course, they get pummeled by the Pokemon, but they lasted a lot longer than than I thought they would. Especially since this is just like a kaiju they're facing right now.
Exactly. I 100% agreed. 100.
Yeah, again, yeah. I also just appreciate after like they lose the battle after speaking to evolves, but then gets absolutely pummeled because it's against Rayquaza. And he's Rayquaza's like it's like yeah okay. I think they have there's still I think there's like a mutual respect between like Rayquaza and the rest of the gang because I think now he's like okay these guys ain't frauds, they're just they're like I'll look forward to seeing them again in the future if we ever do meet again.
Exactly. But now begs the question, and I want to hear your thoughts about it all. What are your predictions for season 2 and the future of Horizon? And I will start you with a part-time question for this, actually, since we have mentioned him a bit. Do you think we are at the minimum getting a cameo from Ash, be it in season 2 or in another upcoming show?
I don't think we're going to get
upcoming season. I mean,
I do not think we're going to get Ash because I think it's you want to try to get Horizons to just be its own thing, establish its own identity very clearly. And I think bringing Ash, even in like a second season, would be like undermining that because it's best to save Ash for like maybe a cameo in the last few episodes of the entire series. Just just maybe as like a little like if they let's say I have an idea where like let's say the gang goes like to a place just to like relax a bit. They meet Ash and they have a Pokemon battle for fun, and like that would be like just a nice little like callback or a nice little like way to tie this back to the original show without trying to undermine Horizons trying to be its own thing.
Yeah, I can agree. Did you know that there was some heavy theories / speculation that Liko would have been Ash's daughter, and this was about 10 years in the future. That was before Horizon premiered.
I think that's like I understand why people would make that theory because there's so many sequel stories or stories that are set in another universe. People think, oh, is this like a relative of the previous main character, or go is their kid, their cousin, like but at the same time, I think trying to connect this with like try to connect Liko to Ash like by blood is like again it kind of undermines the show in a way because Pokemon's a very big universe. Like you can tell so many stories with it, but trying to connect everything to like one guy, I like be like a bloodline. It kind of shrinks the universe a bit. So like I thought the theory was like it was interesting to examine, especially with the evidence people try to bring up. But at the end of the day, I think it was never going to happen. It just wouldn't make sense for Pokemon to do this.
Do you know the hairpin that she has?
That's the L thing. That's that's
a similar mark to what Ash has on his cap, which is
from back in the day in the Indigo League. Again, I think that was just like probably a little callback and fan service. and also a bit of a parallel between Liko and Ash, because Liko's starting her journey the same way Ash started his journey with with that little pin with that little symbol. So it's I say it's just like visual familiarity between Ash and Liko. That nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, and that said, do you have any specific prediction for season 2?
I think. I think I have a few predictions. With one of the kids, with one of the rising Volt tacklers like Molly, I think we're gonna see she's like related to like the Nurse Joy bloodline, because I'm like she has pink hair, she's a doctor, she's a Nurse Joy. Like there's no other that we're just gonna get. I think we're gonna get a confirmation of that, because it's just there's too many similarities. That's prediction number one. Prediction number two. At the end of I think at the end of the show we had the tease of like the new baddie of the Explorers, like the big bad of the entire series. I think we're going to get a lot more details about him, especially with how he got like a shiny Zygarde. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested in how he got that. I think, and he's he's in this very isolated chamber. He's like, so maybe I can imagine he's far older than people will think. He especially with his long hair, long I think and with also being like a main villain, I imagine him to be quite old. So I think that's also the case. And for other things,
You mean Dr. Claw?
do we dot like yeah I'm pretty sure I swear we
You
saw
get the reference?
yeah, I know Inspector Gadget. I watched that show as a kid. And I and I guess this is I guess not much of both a prediction and a hope, but I hope we get more development with the Explorers, and just especially with how they got to where they are, because and I have nothing against villains who are just evil for the sake of being evil, and would have no problem if the Explorers had that backstory of at least some of them, just be like, yeah, I joined this team because I wanted power. But I would just like the why of each of the Explorers, and how they got to where they are right now in the show.
Okay.
Well,
So
how about you? What's your predictions for the show?
I predict that we are going to see something, and that they have more of a Lucius has some more of a connection with Liko than just Terrapagus. I would. It's funny that you say about the connect family lines, because if she is his great granddaughter, I would not be surprised, honestly.
Yeah,
And it just feels like something perfect setup, especially since I wouldn't be surprised if Terrapagus recognize her in him, so to speak, if you catch my drift.
yeah, I see what you mean.
And another thing that I this is a hope, but I hope that Dot and Roy is evolving their starters also, because they need to keep up with Liko, and I could see that happening. And like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if their nurse was just related to the other Nurse Joyce. So, and another thing, that this is a prediction I have. It's a bit out of the blue, I know, but I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't need. Maybe it's not something that happens in season 2. Maybe even season 3. But I do believe at one point we will Amathethia will become a good guy.
I mean, he doesn't have that energy of like conflicted like a villain where he just kind of has like he classes with like the other members of the Explorers sometimes. So I could imagine him just kind of maybe he tries to become a good guy later on.
Exactly, and or at least he becomes like a, I don't know if I would call it anti-hero, but he would but he would be more on the explorer side and the big bad's side, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which is something I actually could see happening. But maybe that's just me. Um, and I would on a how should I, when it comes to Ash Return, I do believe he will have a cameo in this. It could just be that you see a TV screen that Champion Ash is wins again against blah 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 as against the challenger and just ends with that. I don't think they are going to have them team up or anything, or I just I just could see it being a fun nod, honestly.
Yeah, I get you.
Maybe wait, isn't it the third? Isn't it like the 30th anniversary of Pokemon on 2 years?
Let me check. 30th anniversary. It is uh yeah, according to like yeah, it's 2026. I mean, will be like the first time the games were ever release.
Then I could easily see him having a cameo on some sort in the anime in 2026, just as a celebration of the franchise.
Yeah,
Easily.
exactly. Or maybe even like an animated short, or like kind of like how like they did the the 25th anniversary where they did the like that 25th that music video. I could
And
imagine.
the Pokemon Origins, the short animated shorts they did.
And Generations too. I want more. I want more of that stuff. I want that show. Why can't I have? Why can't I have a show like those like Generations or Evolutions?
Yeah, yeah. And but besides that I know what I would like to see, but I don't know if you really gonna see it. And that's I would like to see more members of the Explorers, and then just new Pokemons. I think that could be fun to see.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool.
So, so who knows? Maybe Mathetio will become an explorer later on, but it just. But then again, there is only so much time, and also I hate that we forgot that one part because we clearly need to talk about the Superman My Hero Academia reference
Oh,
slash
Mighty
homage.
G! Yeah, Mighty G, let's go.
That was just so out of nowhere that I couldn't do anything else but laugh when I
Yep,
saw that.
that's
If
my
I'm
goat.
being completely frank.
That was like, yep, my goat right there. The legend, the Mighty G. Ugh. They even had like yeah, I think they had the reference to the time limit too. I'm like, oh my god, this is just a crossover with My Hero Academia. What the
I mean, I've always wondered why the old guy was doing there because he was just sitting there doing nothing than just like talking to the audience. If you really think about it, and just having a derpy Quagsire with him.
is that like, the goat has the goat Pokemon? Quagsire himself. Just they're just there when when they're needed. Like they save the day.
I mean, I guess. So, and also the whole, is it a boat? Is it what was it? Is it a boat? Is it a fish? No, it's. Oh, no, I can't. There are so many Pokemon right now, so you have to excuse me if I misremembering. It's a Palafin.
Dude. Oh yeah. I also do like that in that episode the Palafin didn't want to show its how it changes into its super form. But like the only person who's ever seen it was Liko. But the audience didn't get to see what the transformation is. So I'm like, oh, I kind of like that touch where like now that not even the audience knows what the form is. Only Liko knows what the form is. I was like,
Because she is the main character.
Exactly.
So it wasn't that weird that they would go with her. So I dare argue. Maybe. Let me see here. Because I don't know, but Ludlow feels like he was only supposed to talk with an audience, and still do to some extent. But anyway, do you have anything else in a prediction, hopes, kind of like that, before we go?
I do not have any other predictions for the show. Okay, one more. I think we're gonna get more details with the 6 heroes and how like about and how what happened to Lucius and just more of their backstories and like I guess what they've been up to since like since the band broke up.
Nice. And well, with that said, this is the last stream of this year as we are moving over to 2025. I just want I am going to try and put the Lord of Rings review up before the end of the year, but there has been some chaotic stuff happening here, so I haven't had the time. But outside of that, we are going to start the year off with we don't really know what, but I'm gonna by the looks of it, it's going to be favorites of the last year / what Jump Fiesta announced this month. So look forward to that, and we are also talking about how to schedule out stuff later on.
Yeah.
And for next year, and expect some really good stuff. But anyway, Arkwinder, where can people find you?
They can find me at my YouTube channel, Arkwinder by the same name, and also my Blue Sky account. I think that's under Nate the VA at Blue on Blue Sky. I've been trying to promote that more and more now since I don't want to use Twitter as much anymore, and I hope more people go onto Blue Sky. It's a pretty chill place.
It's truly a chill place. And well, you can find me at Emblemaniac on Blue Sky, and well, I am still somewhat on Twitter at Emblemaniac, even though I'm more and more on Blue Sky instead. But that being said, have it awesome, y'all.
Yeah. Take care.
Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Hanukkah or whatever you're celebrating. Have it awesome, y'all. Please like and subscribe.